Hello everyone and welcome to the December meeting of Friday Flicks. I'm so glad you all could join us. Our movie for this month is A Street Cat Named Bob, released in 2016. This is a friendly spoiler warning for everyone. Discussion past this point and in the comment section of the posted video will contain spoilers for the film. If you haven't watched it yet, copies are available to view through the Hoopla database. The movie is based off of and named after the best-selling memoir, A Street Cat Named Bob and How He Saved My Life by James Bowen. James shares his story about living on the streets of London and dealing with a heroin addiction until he finds a ginger cat that he names Bob, who ends up changing his life. Since Bob and James became partners, they've released multiple books for both adults and children which have become bestsellers. And this was the first movie based off of their story, with a follow-up, A Gift from Bob, released this year, 2020. As the film opens, we're introduced to our main character, James Bowen, a homeless man living on the streets of London and former heroin addict who relies on busking to make enough money for food. Despite a setback, his support worker Val is able to get him into a government apartment and a methadone treatment program. Shortly after moving into the apartment, though, James finds he has an unexpected roommate, a ginger cat named Bob, who he catches red-pawed stealing his cornflakes. Believing that Bob is a runaway from another home in the area, he returns him outside. However, that evening, Bob shows up again at James's apartment, though this time he is suffering from wounds from a fight. Worried that Bob's wounds may become infected, he takes him to his animal-loving neighbor Betty. However, she is allergic and can't take Bob into her own home, but recommends that James take him to a charity vet in the area for treatment. After getting Bob treated, James again tries to turn him loose to find his own home, but Bob has decided he wants to stay and continues to follow James around, even sneaking aboard a bus in order to follow him downtown. With the addition of Bob, James becomes a much more popular busker, drawing crowds of people and becoming subsequently more wealthy. Even after being caught in a brawl causes James to be prohibited from busking for 6 months, he's still able to find work selling a magazine called The Big Issue, with Bob again riding on his shoulders. Bob again proves very popular with the crowds, but after a woman attempts to force James to sell Bob to her for her son, Bob jumps away and disappears into the crowd, not returning home for several days. James is devastated by Bob's disappearance, and after Bob returns to the apartment, he decides he's ready to take the next step in his treatment and get off the methadone. As he endures withdrawal symptoms, Bob stays by his side, helping him to cope. Due to the immense media popularity of James and Bob from pictures being posted online, a journalist requests to write a book about their story. James and Bob both agree to the project. As James works on the book, chronicling the decisions that led him to where he is now, the movie ends on a book signing for A Street Cat Named Bob, as we see how many lives James and Bob have touched with their story. The film does a great job with showing the characters as three-dimensional people, neither all good or all bad, with a few exceptions. Certainly characters such as the thug who encourages his dog to urinate on James's possessions, or the entitled wealthy woman who attempts to buy Bob off of James, insisting that she can give him a better life than James, are examples of the worst of humanity. They are the exception in the film rather than the rule. Overall, characters are shown as being three-dimensional, trying to do the right thing with what they have. One of the main criticisms of this film has been the fact that it's considered too cute and sweet for its own good. A Cinderella story that ignores harsh realities of addiction and homelessness. However, perhaps that's actually the film's strength rather than its weakness, to show hope and optimism rather than darkness and despair. James Bowen was quoted in a USA Today article in June of 2020 that Bob saved my life. It's as simple as that. He gave me so much more than companionship. With him at my side, I found a direction and purpose that I'd been missing. Perhaps that's a message we can all take away from this film. In spite of all the dark, harsh realities of life, sometimes it's something as simple as a small ginger cat can make all the difference. Overall, I very much enjoyed this movie and would recommend it to friends and family. However, that's just my opinion of the film, and I want to know what you guys think. Did you enjoy the story of Bob and James? Did you feel it was too sweet and sentimental and should have focused more on the gritty harshness of reality? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below this video. I can't wait to hear what everyone else thought. Don't forget to stay tuned to the library's website and social media for upcoming programs for all ages. We've got some great things planned in the new year, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you there.